Look at this cartoon. Hugh Grief sent this to me. I think this is so cool. Thank goodness the leak is on their side of the canoe. And when you, that's a, as you can see, it's a cartoon by the fabulous Kirk, and it relates to poverty. And that is really what I'm saying to you guys. You know, everybody's sort of saying it's not my thing. You go off and do it. You go off and take care of it. That's what it appears to be. Now, I certainly stand to be corrected, but I don't see, even though you say there's a plan, I don't really see a lot of interconnectedness between among the agencies that are supposed to be managing this issue
they've been
of
really
poor development.
Encouraged by how funding occurs in this town and how competition seems to occur to operate separately. That's been really a deeply troubling effort. There's not been a willingness on the part of the principal sources of money to support their work to say that they ought to collaborate.
But that lack of collaboration then causes core cities and suburban cities to suffer. And as a taxpayer a long-term taxpayer, you know, I get a little irritated because I feel like there should be more collaboration so that my tax dollars are better used.
You live in a neighborhood where that is happening. You live in the edge of United North in the One Village area where you can have a quality of life plan. You can see lots of neighborhood engagement. You may have an opinion about one piece of the plan. You have a mechanism to go work on that. Your neighborhood actually has come together. We need to see that in lots of neighborhoods, and that's what we really want to support.
The other thing is sometimes we look at the core areas with a jaundiced eye because the perception is it's not safe. And secondly, there's a lack of services for people who live there. The plan that I think that could be implemented would include, Donnie, the opportunities for education. I think our new superintendent is beginning to grasp and comes with a lot of new ideas, whether it's the using part of the Head Start to go all the way from cradle to career or the Mow and Move program. But I think we need other vocational schools in our central city and in the city limits so that everybody isn't necessarily geared towards the reading and writing types of things, but are technically very good, you know. And my grandkids, for example, are tremendous with the computer and the cell phone. So I think there's a place for that. The other thing is when we deal with the safe, making it safe, and people get the perception that we need to also involve people. Either Block Watch has to get more sophisticated, not being afraid to report things that go on in their neighborhood. We also have to have opportunities, whether they're through education, like in Chicago, IBM we may bring that same concept to this plan, is that IBM has taken a school, and when they have 40, they've chosen 40 youngsters. When these 40 complete school, they have a job at IBM that starts at $40,000 a year. We got to get more of that. We have to find.
How does that happen, though? How does that happen? I mean, one of the things that I read recently, and I thought this was pretty cool, was that the cocktail for a community destroying itself is economic desperation, public indifference, and poor political leadership.
Bingo.
And
That's
there
true.
we are. Here we are. So you
look
know,
at our
everybody's
leadership.
talking, and you know, Nero's fiddling and Rome is burning.
You look
know,
at this current administration. When you
was
have
Nero,
no
wasn't it? It was
diversity
Nero.
in the city administration up top, you got 10
So there's
white
no
guys,
10 white guys.
and no diversity there. What does that message send to investors outside the city?
Women, are there any women? Are there any?
They had one, and I think Robin now has
Robin
taken the
is
job
leaving to go,
with ProMedica. But I think one of the things that has to happen is all of these economic development groups, whether it's technology with the university, whether it's bonding with the Port Authority, whether it's LCIC with its hands-on, all these groups, along with LMHA, that brings $55 million and creates a situation.
But why isn't this happening?
Here's what we're
Everybody's
doing.
right
I'm not
here.
sure.
Let me just tell you what we're
Everybody's
trying
smart
to
here.
do, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you a simple answer to that. LISC has finally said, rather than keep asking the same question, why isn't it happening? What can we do to cause it to happen? So we're using our program committee as a way to invite all of those different participants to the table. And we've created a common dashboard that we're using to measure how we're doing against a set of goals.
Right.
And so we have everybody, pick anybody that Pete's just named, they're all invited to that table.
Do they
Now,
come?
we have some that come readily, you know, TPS always comes, for example. And then YMCA comes. Then we have some that are maybe they have an ego issue, maybe they think, well, I'm not coming to that meeting because Liz called it.
Right.
I don't know. But what we thought we'd try to do is start modeling. United Way has been very engaged with that, so they are participating. We're trying to model a new behavior.
Yeah, and that's really important because let me tell you, I think that we lose as a community when we continue to talk
Absolutely.
and nothing happens. Because
Right.
after a while, people are like, I don't want to
That's
hear
right.
this.
That's right.
You know, if those neighborhoods in the core city, the north end, the south end, the target neighborhoods that you defined earlier, want to be better, then you know what? It's on them. Because I'm living somewhere else and we mow our grass.
Last
and we
year,
don't.
we did the first 2 major applications for large federal initiatives that had come out of this city. There were lots of other people that could have chosen to do it. No one seemed to be willing to do it. So we said, okay, then we're going to get in the batter's box, and we got a whole big cadre of people around it to apply for major community policing and innovation and criminal justice grant. We didn't win, but now we're in the queue and we're going to reapply this year. That's $1 million.
You know,
We also
I'm sorry.
tried to get what's called a choice neighborhoods application.
Right.
in. We didn't win that time, but we're considering doing it again. If we don't get in the game, we'll
right.
never get
You'll
a
never
chance
win.
to get a hit.
You'll never win.
And so that's what we've been trying to do, is change that whole dynamic.
You know, the other thing that I'm a little concerned about, though, is that in other cities, I get to spend a lot of time in Chicago, and after Toledo, it's like my favorite city on the planet. So
Me too.
Yeah, and what they do there is culturally, they really take advantage of the cultural pockets
They do.
in those communities. So you have Chinatown, which is wonderful. You have an area where it's primarily Latino, and people go for great food and all of that. And we don't see much of that here. There's not a neighborhood, for instance, that focuses on the value of the African American culture economically. For instance, there used to be, when I first moved here, that whole Dorr Street corridor was coming down when I moved here, but it was there. You really, there were folks on last week, Roberto Torres was one of those, talking about wanting to develop the
Yes.
Broadway Strip into an area that focuses on the benefits of the Latino culture. So why aren't we embracing that? Those are really strong
Yeah.
precedents to developing economic
Right. I think
power in those communities
Donnie,
and
what
in
we
those cultures.
what we need to do is understand that we have to address some of these other situations about
Like
safety
what?
and so forth.
Like safety?
So that we can get diversified income in Central City.
That's a great point.
Businesses cannot exist off once a month checks
That's right.
that people receive. So we
You're right.
gotta do more than just have Washington Village. It works. I think part of the problem is trying to treat a whole neighborhood at the same time, rather than taking it block by block by block.
Who had the block by block? Was that Mayor Finkbeiner?
He's
no.
the first guy to use the term. Yeah.
He used it after, but Washington Village was built back when we had.
So you guys did the
yeah,
block
yeah.
by block stuff,
Right, and
down.
I think they want to do that now. I think that's what's happening over at the Junction Avenue. But what I'm saying is, until we get a diversified income base, and we can do that by being able to do it block by block, so
know
that
what-
you're
go
not
ahead.
just all the poor people live. No businesses are going to come except the dollar store. Not really,
Right.
not dollar stores anymore.
More,
So
right.
you gotta,
It's true.
yeah, you
$7
gotta
stores,
get, and I think one of the things that's missing in making it a safer neighborhood is our churches. You know, when I first came here, people walked to church.
Right.
Now, everybody drives, and they got, so that tells you that part of what we got to do is do a better outreach, because that's a great part of our legacy. That as we
Pulling
all
those
know.
churches back
back
into the
in,
community.
making them become much more viable, and setting the kind of moral attitude and the kind of because we got two types of poverty. We got generational poverty, and we got the new poverty. And churches, I think, deal with that all the time with their membership. So I think they need to step up and be part of that collaboration as we work
We got
towards
2 minutes
improvement.
left, and I just want to make this point, and then you can make your point quickly. I love what's happening downtown. I live downtown. I live on the edge of downtown. I love what's happening downtown. But what we don't want to create is a them and an everybody else
right.
kind of situation. And you can sort of see that happening, you know, because you see the investment going downtown. Those are great places to live down there. And then you've got, you know, a half a mile away, neighborhoods that you don't want to drive your car in, much less live in. So.
One of the things we're working on right now would be what's called market rate
housing
along one of the streets that leads between where you live and downtown. And if we can pull together the right combination of support and players, I think we have an opportunity there to start adding another dimension to the downtown, connecting it into the Cherry corridor area. The other thing I would say to you is that we already are doing some cultural nodes, but they're around less ethnic and more art and that kind of thing. You go down in the St. Clair Village area and the whole Warehouse District, that's really pretty bubbling right now.
Yeah,
we need to build more of that. South
Right.
Broadway will probably be the next one that'll go. It's starting to get its own identity.
And some of the
Okay.
developments
Quickly.
downtown came as a result of 108, which is block grant money.
Black grant money.
Yeah.
That's great to know. But at the end of the day, what we need here is a concerted effort, strong
Yes,
leadership,
correct.
a great plan. Okay, don't go away. We'll be right back.
A pirate's life isn't all fun
Can't just pretend like this never happened.
and games.
You're out of your depth, pirate.
You're gonna pay for what you've done.
New Once Upon a Time, tonight 8/7 Central on ABC.
Shop Inside Out's Here Comes the Sun sales event for 20 to 70% off hundreds of top brand hot tubs and above ground pool packages. Plus get special financing only at Inside Out.
We have all the fun.
Through the years, Modern Floors has tried to entertain you with their commercials. Our point was simple. Modern Floors is a family business and sells carpeting for less because of our low overhead. 55 years later, this hasn't changed. Modern Floors sells carpeting from only 59 cents a square foot. We can service all your flooring needs with professional installation, and you'll save money too. Oh, by the way, did we tell you where we're located?
We're a little hard to find, but stand in the middle of Secor and Alexis and yell Modern Floor, and I'll come out and get you.
Hi, my name is Jan Pugh, artist, Packer Creek Pottery. I'd like to invite you to my studio located in beautiful Juneau, Ohio. All the pottery is handcrafted and hand-painted right here in the studio. We create masterpieces for every season and every taste. Stop in for a gift and take advantage of our complimentary gift wrapping all year round. Packer Creek Pottery, locally made masterpieces, practical, whimsical, and something for everyone.
Come join us this weekend, April 11th through the 13th, for our spring open house.
How has Cub Cadet been an American original since 1961? By introducing innovations like the world's best zero-turn rider with steering wheel control and four-wheel steering. By perfecting a cut that's consistently beautiful. By performing like nothing else on earth. And by giving you exceptional offers. Plus, expert advice, superior service, and test drives anytime. In the Toledo area, stop by your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer today.
This is how you get in touch with Hugh Grief from LISC. There's that information on the screen. Please take a minute, take a look at their website, call them. It's really great information. You'll be glad you did. You guys, you know the rules here. You go out, you find a way to pay it forward. There are many, many reasons to pay it forward these days. And I'll see you next week on Bridges. Have a great day.
You get superb comfort, style, design, selection, and low price all woven together at Monroe Furniture Plaza. Make your home or your outdoor living space the place to be, to entertain, and even better, to just relax. Monroe Furniture Plaza has the good stuff, high-quality wicker and rattan furnishings. Right now, pre-season sale priced at 35 to 40% off. Plus, take an extra 10% off this week on the area's largest all-weather wicker and rattan collections. Hurry now to Monroe Furniture Plaza.
After this cold, harsh winter, you know you need new windows. Homeowners, it's time to go green with new custom-made energy-saving wall-side windows. Homeowners, it's time to save green because right now every wall-side window is 1/2 off. Plus, order by Tuesday for 5 years, no interest, no down payment. Homeowners, call now. 1/2 off every window plus 5 years, no interest. Ends Tuesday, April 29th. 1-800-521-7800.
Time and Temp brought to you by ShopLevisCommons.com.